So speaking of Wiper, you had a meeting recently, and Kalonzo Musyoka, the party leader, being seen as trying to put house in order ahead of 2015. So it was interesting to see some of the members there donning T-shirts written "Team Kalonzo 2015, the journey begins." Is that his way of announcing that his name is going to be in the presidential ballot paper?
Kalonzo Musyoka, Raila Odinga, Moses Wetangula were brought together as presidential candidates.
Yes.
What we are saying, and what the Wiper Party is saying, and I think it's something that is acceptable across the coalition, is that there is a memorandum or a coalition instrument that binds us until 2017, and we do intend to, as a Wiper Party and the CORD coalition, to remain intact. But there is a case, like every politician will do, in terms of saying that at 2017, Kalonzo hopes to renegotiate even the position he was in, and possibly, if it were deemed at that point that he's probably the strong, he still has great capacity or debate to become presidential candidate. And this, so what is happening, in fact, the principals will not tell you this, but they are talking regularly about what process they would use. You remember when Raila went to OGM party to Kasarani to do the nomination exercise? Are we going to have a nomination exercise across the parties? What kind of formula are we going to use? So there's what is said is it's not in dispute that there's a coalition instrument that binds us. Raila Odinga is the coalition leader, and we are in fact interested to ensure that we strengthen the CORD coalition into a movement and strengthen its processes internally. But then you see, to carry your constituents on board, you must satisfy their entire expectations. So they must have a transparent process of how the ticket is arrived at.
So given
unlike Jubilee, we have three principles, and you realize the presidential ticket is two principles. So therefore, we have to manage the dynamics. It's going to be a dynamic that I think it will be dishonest if CORD does not talk about.
So as Hassan Omar and as a member of Wiper Party, today, if you were to choose between Raila, Kalonzo and Wetangula to be on the ballot, who would you go for?
Why are you putting me in such a difficult situation? I would choose the principles of the CORD coalitions. For me, my interest is the CORD coalition, because I realize, and I made the speech, I was one of those who gave one of the keynote addresses, and I said, let's not delude ourselves that we can win it as Wiper. But for me, my interest is to win. And if the interest is to win, even in Mombasa, if you do not go as a CORD coalition, you go as Wiper, you go as ODM.
So you will not answer that question.
It will become a difficulty in terms of... So what I was saying,
yes.
I believe that once these great men and the great women of this party are able to be inspired by a certain larger calling, in terms of, yes, we need to now make things right once and for all. We might not be a perfect alternative, but we are definitely a more credible alternative in comparative. So I think that's the kind of process we want to immerse ourselves in. Yeah.